Hey, this trial and error doing a review of part two reunion of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Better late than never. I know I'm behind. But before I get into this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you could be notified when I drop another video. Okay, so we get right off into the reunion, and Giselle is being questioned about the relationship, just a spillover from part one. So, the first issue that I have is a woman placing blame on themselves for the problems that they potentially have in their relationship. Like she immediately say, "It's my fault. I have communication issues." Blah 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 blah. Girl, don't put yourself at fault because your man ain't acting right. Like that's the first problem. And it seems like that's your issue too because you're sitting around here blaming yourself for him pretty much running around town or doing whatever he want to do. You're not fine. You can see it all in your face, even though you're trying to sit pretty up there. You definitely are shook and bothered. Um, and you're definitely not transparent. But one thing I do hate is women, when they place the blame on themselves for um, the problem that the man is having in the relationship. It's not always our fault. I'm just saying. Okay, so they go on break for lunch or whatever. So Giselle and Rodman, they're talking about the binder, and making jokes and saying that she had this time on her hand to make a binder to bring to the reunion. First of all, Rodman, as a friend, you should have been asking some valid questions to Giselle because the stuff she was saying, those are some serious, serious allegations about his other life that he had with another woman. So you should have been asking her, friend, are you okay? What are you gonna do? Do you think that this is true? Why would she have his actual number? You're not worried about any of this. Like a real friend would have been concerned, but y'all trying to act like y'all ain't bothered and it's just a joke unless Robin know the real and she just standing behind her friend. But I don't see well that should have been a part of joking. But to put on this image and fake it till you make it, you have to make it like you didn't have a problem with what she was saying. Okay, that was weird, but moving right along. Okay, so they return back from lunch, and everybody is waiting on Robin to return, and she's late as always. Girl, I'm gonna need for you to start being on time. You already is significant to the show. You don't serve a purpose, and you never have anything going on. I'm gonna need for you to be punctual because you don't want to lose your job for not being on time and being late. You're already not bringing enough for people to have to wait on you. I mean, that's getting old. Okay, so we get to Ashley and her husband. I'm just confused as to why Andy and the other cast members are so hard up on their relationship and is it open or not. From a viewer's standpoint, to me, I feel like they have some type of open marriage or some type of agreement about who they bring into the bedroom or whatever they do. So I don't feel like that's something that should be brought up every single reunion. Like, move on already. Now, as far as him being in the blogs about the him and the woman in the hotel room, we all know. So he spent the night. The first thing we will assume is they had some type of sexual encounter. But let's just say the woman just wanted to blackmail him to be paid, just to get him in the room to get the picture of him, and she didn't want to mess around with him because one, in her eyes, he's old, and she just wanted to get some money in exchange for the information. That could very well be the case, but I mean, honestly and truthfully, I think that they messed around. That's just me personally. But what if they really didn't and she just tried to blackmail them for money? And then when she didn't get what she wanted, she went ahead and sent it to the blog. It made sense to me. It may not make sense to anyone else. Okay, so Giselle sit up there and you want to question Ashley about what her husband might have done in that room, but you just set your ass on stage and didn't have an explanation or a response to any of the allegations against your man. Girl, sit down. See, that's what I be talking about. You talk too much. But when the fire under your feet, oh, you shut down. You don't have nothing to say. I don't believe any of it. Girl, bye. So the thing that bothers me when we get to the part about the video of Ashley's husband resurfacing again, like you played this clip and asked her about something from season one that resurfaced, that had absolutely nothing to do with season five. But when it comes to other situations where, you know, video footage was relevant to bring on, even if it wasn't a part of season five, um, you didn't feel the need to talk about it or bring up the footage because it wasn't mentioned on the show. So I'm trying to see, is some type of bias here? Is it just you have, like, for real, your favorite and you just don't want them to look as bad and you don't mind other cast members to look their worst on here? Like, what's really going on? This didn't have anything to do with season five with him in this situation with the producer guy, the cameraman, or whatever he was. It just feels like he has an obsession with Ashley's husband. I mean, are you interested? I mean, what is it going on with this being fixated on this particular situation? It's weird. And that's going to be my word of the day. Weird. Could someone help me understand why Candace think that the statement that Ashley wrote against her was false? Girl, you waved a knife at her and threw it at her. And there was a depiction of your character. Like, why would you say her statement that she wrote for Monique wasn't true? Girl, we seen it on TV. It aired in your home. Like, quit playing. Like, some is wrong. Like, she do need some help. It's almost like her entitlement and thinking the world revolves around her makes her just see things a certain way just to make her look so great and not like she has wronged anybody. Like, girl, get a life. Just get a life. Okay, so Robin asked Karen why was she so dismissive at the pool when she asked her about the fireball or whatever. Girl, stop playing stupid. You know why she was dismissive. She was dismissive because you be on that bull. Like, quit playing. You knew where you were going when you asked that question. And she know your ass missed it. And she know your ass was going to come with some other, something about whatever she said and all of that. I would have dismissed your ass too. Like, all that fake and phony stuff, like, it don't work for me. It's annoying. Girl, find something else to talk about. How about your household and not everybody else's? Just like Robin just set her ass up there and did that smirk when Andy asked Karen, did she have a disdain for raised penis or whatever? And she sitting up there smirking like some shit funny. That's why I wouldn't have nothing for her either. Like, you know what you be doing. And that you didn't even have to say that or discuss that on the trip when you did. Like, y'all know what y'all be doing. Y'all mention certain things. And it wasn't from a caring place. It was a malicious place. And you sitting your ass on that couch with that smirk on your face. That's why your clock ticking, ho. That's why it's clicking. The clock is ticking for you. You ain't got long. You better find you something else to talk about and not everybody else. Your clock is almost at zero. Okay, so Andy gets to asking the women about their finances since they've been on the show, and is it hard pretty much for the men since they're bringing in income. So Monique makes the comment, that little check, and Andy is taken back at the fact that she said it, and then questions, is he bringing home the money he was before now? And she was like, yeah, his investment portfolio looks great. So the check that she's getting from Bravo is nothing compared to what he's bringing in. Um, he tried it. And why would you be questioning a man's income? So her saying that her check was little compared to what her husband bring in wasn't enough, we catch that shade. I caught that shade. And Monique handled that very well because I would have shut him up too with that. He better be happy that it was that pleasant because I would have took offense to it and my response wouldn't have been how her response was. But again, she has kept her composure for real, this entire show. And Robin saying they split everything equally in their household, and she's very conscious of his manhood or whatever the case may be. Um, I don't know what they're bringing in, but I just know that it ain't what the Samuels bringing in or the Hugers. Okay, um, I'm just gonna leave that there. But I'm just trying to see why he worried about how much money these folks got in their household and who bringing in more, the man or the woman. I mean, stay out of these folks' pockets. Andy gets to the part where he asks Karen about Ray, saying that he wasn't in love with her or didn't know if he was in love with her, and just asking her how she felt about that, and he would have been embarrassed because it's natural. And Giselle goes on to say that she felt like she heard it before and she was just embarrassed. That was the reason why she was crying. I have to disagree. Um, it's hard work in a marriage. And being that they've been married over 20 years, I know that um, not the entire time is going to be easy. So I can see how they lose themselves in the marriage and then a disconnect happens. And then now, you know, we're not telling each other we love each other. We're not hugging. We're not kissing. We're not dating, going out on dates. We're not doing all of these things. And, you know, they're at a different point in their marriage because Ray is ready to retire or retired already, and she is at the prime of her career because she's been a housewife throughout his career. So now she's doing her perfume and her wig line and all of that type of stuff. So he want her at home with him because he retired, but she has to travel and do interviews and do all of this stuff. So I can see how it causes a problem in their marriage with the disconnect. So I don't look at it as her being embarrassed. She was hurt because even though he's not in the same place in their marriage, she was still there. Even though she know that something is wrong, she still was in love with her husband. So that didn't have to be a situation where I'm embarrassed because he said that on national television or in front of someone. No, that was a place from hurt because damn, I'm at the point where I could possibly lose the love of my life, my husband, and I don't want to start over with anybody else, and he's just not in that right place. So now I'm at this point, okay, I've cried about it. Let me fix it. Let me do the work because I don't want to lose my man. But I definitely don't look at it as a situation where she's embarrassed at what he said. I think she needed to hear it because if it was never told and she never heard it directly from him out his mouth, they may not be together right now because she wasn't aware that it was that bad with him. So, Giselle, try again. You missed it. Okay, so I'm gonna need for Winnie to loosen up. she's too serious. Now, what she tried to do was make it seem like the ladies are childish in high school because they talk about sex. That's a part of life and relationships and marriages. Like, I'm gonna need for you to loosen up, and there ain't nothing wrong with discussing it and talking about it. That's what women do. I mean, that's not out of the norm. Stop being so serious. Loosen up. It's okay, girl. Relax. I'm just trying to see why nobody caught that little dig that she just did with the entire cast on the stage. So we get to the part about the bird flying away and getting lost, and just keep in mind that wasn't a part of the show, but he aired that, which I don't get why. It just proved to me that he was trying to prove Monique to be a liar. Like the parrot expert said that it's not likely that a bird comes back if it flies away. So he just wanted to make that known that he believed that she was lying about the bird flying away. Can't help but to notice that Miss Candace got out her deeds and saying stuff didn't happen, and oh, she's a victim and all of that type of stuff. When I tell you, this girl talks so much to where you just can't pity the fool. Like, I'm so over her. Like, it's so crazy. But the one point that I have, so you mean to tell me that the girl with fake crying on her Instagram live about her bird flying away, but you don't think she would have pushed out those fake tears to sound just a little bit remorseful for fighting you? I do believe that that was a real moment, and her bird really did fly away. Um, I just don't understand why she would fake that, but not go ahead and fake her remorse for going upside your head and tugging on that wig. Like, you have to make it make sense. And girl, you want to reaction out this girl so bad, it's unbelievable. Find you another storyline, cause this one ain't it. So here's my thing about when Andy gets to the part about the trainer rumors and all of that, and he asks her about the plot and what was going on with that. So y'all found footage from everything else, but y'all failed to get that footage of Candace's live that's been floating all over the internet for the longest, showing that she admits to it being a plot about that baby's paternity. Um, Quit playing. And this is just a whole nother reason for me to say that they had it in, Andy had it in for Monique this entire reunion, because you found footage of everything else didn't have anything to do with nothing. The bird, um, season one with Michael Darby, like, but you did not get the footage of Candace saying that it was a plot when they went to dinner and she told them it wouldn't work because that baby looked just like Chris. So y'all just failed to insert that part into the reunion so it could be shown to our viewers that that really happened. Because you definitely have people who don't follow the blogs or be on Instagram to know what's going on outside of filming. So I just feel like that was very unfair, and they wrong for that. Because we all seen it. Well, most of us seen it, and they didn't want the whole world who watched the reunion part two to pretty much see that there really was a plot. And there should be consequences for coming up with a malicious plot against a family. That's just my opinion on that. All right, so we're at the part uh, where they're doing a recap of what led up to the fight and just the issues that Candace and Monique had. Now, what I'm trying to figure out with Monique is, I understand that this is your job, so you have to film with people. But I just don't understand how you end up going to lunch with Giselle, knowing what her plot was the entire time, and to allow her to feed you BS about Candace or anybody else when you sit down with her, and that you actually listen to it. I wouldn't have took any type of seriousness into anything that she was saying, because one, we know she missed it. Two, you already know that she was plotting against you. So I don't understand, how did you allow Giselle to feed you information to be mad about with Candace? I know you're already mad at Candace because she could have called you personally and said, hey, I went to lunch with so and so, because we friends, right? And they plotting against you XYZ. But instead you called Karen. And of course you knew Karen was gonna call Monique. And now it looks like you're not a good friend to Monique because you then called Karen instead of calling the source, like the person who um the malicious intent was meant for. Like I didn't get that. So that was the first mistake with Monique, was even sitting down having even a lunch with Giselle. It wouldn't have never happened with me, work or not, because I already know what you're trying to do to me. Um, when we get to the fight, I mean, it's obvious to see that Giselle pushed her. And to me, I feel like Giselle is at fault, because what you push her for? At that point, they wasn't even fighting. They were just having a verbal exchange. Why did you push her? You knew what you was doing, and you should be held liable for the part that you played in that fight. Why you acting like you can't believe the girl fought her, and I don't want to fend with her, and I gotta have a bodyguard when she's around. Girl, you started the fight. You pushed her. It, whatever. And I don't even want to get into this whole little emotional roller coaster that Candace finna act like she on, because you been big bad wolf this entire show. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Getting riding with her with your tone and going back and forth with her. Like, girl, don't get up here and sit up here and cry now, because honestly, I don't want to see the tears. Keep that same energy you done had this entire show, part one, part two. I don't want to hear any tears, because no, I don't feel sorry for you. And two, that fight went that bad for you to be acting like you all so distraught over it. They play too much. And they too old. Candace really pulled the bully card. This woman tried to bully me, bait me, this and that me, because she's bored and wanted to fight me. Girl, let me tell you, somebody bullied wouldn't have not had that much mouth on this reunion show. I can tell you that. Somebody being bullied gonna be hush hush, shivering in their seat in their boots. They is not gonna have that much mouth and go back and forth with a person who bullying them, because they're not ready for what consequences that's gonna come behind that, being that you are bullied. Try again next. I just can't believe that once we watched the replay of this fight, nobody held Giselle accountable for that push. She said she was trying to break them up, diffuse the fight. No, baby, you put force behind that push. Her shoulder went back. But nobody held her accountable for that. Just watching the slow motion replay of the fight, it's clear that the girl really was waving the broken champagne glass, whether it was because her head was down. She was trying to really hit her, I guess, try to hit her with the champagne glass. It wasn't no struggle with it. She put a hand on her chin. I like all of these events happen and everybody's saying it didn't happen. But guess what? When a situation is happening so fast and right while you're there, you're not gonna catch every single thing to say that didn't happen, that didn't happen. It's too much going on around you for you to notice every detail of what happened in the fight. Like, I'm just sitting here like, these women too old and they play too much. I just don't get it. And the girl going to this whole crying thing, walk on stage, she need a moment. You ain't needed a moment all night. Now you need a moment now. Let it go. Just let it go. Let me just say this about the fight. So he asked her, why did she gather the women up to apologize to them about the fight. I totally understand what she's saying. I got into a fight with the girl. Everybody else was around, so I'm apologizing for having you all around and potentially putting you in harm's way, because anybody could have got hurt because glass was broken, whatever. So you want to make her say that she should have apologized to the girl that soon after a fight. Um, Let me tell you, she had to realize what part she played and whether or not she was right or wrong in this situation in her own time. I would rather somebody apologize and it be genuine rather than someone apologize to me and it ain't real. So I don't like how they sitting here trying to force her to say that she should apologize when when right afterwards. Like, I'm not gonna do it for y'all satisfaction. I'm gonna do it when I'm ready to do it and when I know that I'm really apologetic. Like, I don't get that. And all this crying stuff, I'm so happy Candace said it. The reason she crying is because she was embarrassed. Okay, we know you was embarrassed. I would have been embarrassed if my wig would have got shifted and I took a few blows to the head. I would have been embarrassed also. But guess what? Things happen. Get over it. Yeah, people heal in their own time. It's been over a year. I'm gonna need for you to stop crying about it. You're a grown ass woman. It ain't that serious. And like she black your eye, bust your lip. She only shifted the wig and hit you a few times. It ain't that serious. But I do understand it's embarrassing and the whole world seen it. And you got dragged on social media also. I get it. But after a year, it is time to let it go. I just don't understand why they are dragging it on. I don't understand why they acting like they feel so sorry for this girl. I just don't get it. But I will tell you, this is my wrap up of part two reunion of the Real Housewives of Potomac. They have exhausted me with this crying mess and walking out the stage mess, acting like she just can't take it. I don't buy it. I understand you're embarrassed. Again, I'm gonna say get over it. Don't forget to leave a comment of what you think. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, thumbs up this video. Until next time, you guys, peace.